On the Drift podcast.
G'day, champ. I was looking for some winners.
Sure thing. Please hold.
Moses won the 10,000 from Powlele.
Away goes Animo in the Rosehill Guinea.
But Home Affairs has made a mess of them.
Coming through is Fireburn with a big run off the fence. I'm thunderstruck. Went boom over the top. Nature Strip clings on. He's king of the mountain this time.
Thanks for waiting. No guarantees, but we'll see what we can do.
Sounds about right.
Oh, some might say it's been a hot minute, Declan. It really has.
As Jared Hayne would say, of rugby league fame, it's been a long time.
It has, but for, I guess, existing drifters and on the drift listeners, we're back for season 6, and mate, as you can clearly see, we're back bigger, brighter than ever.
Yeah, Orangey glad we're back. Yeah, it's been a hot minute, like you said. Welcome back. Welcome to season 6. G'day to all the drifters listening, young and old and everywhere in between. It's good to have you.
It's fantastic to have everyone listening, the two of you that are out there. But, mate, I think it would only make sense for us to kick off and go, like, all right, so why have we taken so long to come back? It's not out of pattern for us. Our spell is usually this big.
Yeah, we usually have a pretty decent spell post the WA Group 1s. You know, it's silly season for a lot of people. Christmas time, New Year's, settling into the new year. Yeah, it feels like a long time, but in reality, it's what, a couple months?
Well, at the end of 2020, 2021 and 2022, we're like, oh yeah, we'll do some Magic Millions content. We didn't do one at all.
No.
We never do that.
No.
So that's just consistency in my book. But I think it's fair to say that silly season probably got the better of us.
Oh, it did. It was insane. It felt like it was just a long lead time. I feel like everyone, in a corporate world, working them 9 to 5 jobs. Not that we're part of the corporate world anymore, mate. Now that we've painted this wall, renovated the podcast studio. My dad's really handy. So is your dad as well. Renovating Kings. After we finished up on Sunday, I rock up to mum and dad's place with my King G's on that had like a couple of strokes of paint on them. I was like, Dad, just let me know if you need anything done around the house. I'm your guy. But anyway, where was I? Corporate lifestyle, 9 to 5. It felt like a really long lead time into Christmas, and that the weeks were just getting sillier and sillier.
They were, and when the silly season concluded, we were almost like bears coming out of hibernation. Yeah. When it was time to get to work, we got to work. And yeah, can I say, mate? Yeah, we've done a fantastic job. It feels professional in here. It does. It's a step up from the previous 107 episodes that we've done.
Not out.
So yeah, we're in the we're edging towards 200 episodes, and mate, the rate that we're putting out content, we might even get there this year, but that is something to come. So other things that happen in the silly season, right? Like when we were out of finally like a bear coming out of hibernation, we were like, okay, where's my next feed? All right, what do we got to get do? So we ducked down to Sydney for a client function.
Yep.
That was fantastic.
Yep.
We renovated the studio, and it's stunning. It's glorious. It gets the job done.
Yep.
And the content ideas, mate. So we are changing the format of the On the Drift podcast a little bit, but we're there for the drifter, mate.
100% we are. We're here for the fans. The long line of you that's that's listening. And so, like, we're hoping that the changes we make, are for the betterment of our content creation, but also for the drifter experience. I think they will be. I think they'll be buoyed.
Absolutely. So, we may as well just touch on them, right? So,
yeah. Get into it, mate.
Our Wednesdays, we're going to continue doing our podcast, but it's more just going to be a preview instead of the waffle for the first 15 minutes. reviewing a meeting that happened 4 days ago. That doesn't really make sense anymore. So it's just going to be a preview show.
100%. Yeah, like punters, aka drifters, have short memories, and I guess things move quickly in the horse racing world. Saturday happens, you're licking your wounds, or you're counting your cash. That's how a Saturday goes, right? Or you're somewhere in between. Come Wednesday, you're not concerned about what happened on the Saturday just gone.
Absolutely not.
We're looking ahead.
We are. But what we were thinking is but Sundays is an opportunity for us to reflect and see how many winners we missed. So we are going to start a review podcast on Sundays as well.
Yeah. You're exactly right. I think it'll be a good opportunity for us to fully digest racing, which we obviously enjoy doing. We do that anyway, and then can put that out to the drifters. And I think the more content, the better. Obviously, let us know if that's not the case, but it'd be good for the drifters to have something that's a little bit unprofessional on a Sunday that they can listen to digest all their decision making and our decision making from a Saturday on the punt.
And we're going to do that review show our way. It's not going to be super dry, data-driven stuff. It's more going to be gut feel vibe type of thing.
We're all about the vibes in here, mate. And my vibe is that we're going to be licking our wounds more often than not on a Sunday. That's my vibe. Autumn Carnival, here we come, I guess.
100%.
Although Autumn Carnivals have been pretty good for us the last couple of years.
They have. But I think there is one final content update that we want to update the drifters on. And this is not a revolutionary addition to our podcast at all. This has been done time and time and time again.
Tried and true.
It is. It's a proven formula.
Yeah.
It's a winning formula, and we've straight up adopted and stolen it. But think of your Hello Sports, your Bloody Brilliant Beers, your Alpha Blokes.
Yeah.
Their phone hotlines are some of the best content that they put out there. So, but I think the racing community, they don't have a voice in that realm yet.
No, look, it's an idea that's been utilised to perfection from podcasts a lot bigger than ours. However, yeah, you're right. There isn't an opportunity for a drifter or a punter, whatever label you want to give yourself. In 2023, what right do we have to label you? So yeah, it's the opportunity for you guys to leave a message for the drifters.
And the hotline is going to be called the Trumpet Hotline, because we would love pre-race tips. Tell us if you think our tips are absolute shit. We're willing to review that on a Sunday, but also your post-race stuff.
Yeah.
Really keen to hear that as well. It's like, I got on this horse because my uncle's best mate is the trainer. That sort of gear.
100%. I pumped this thing from 3 months out, got it at 30s, and it started at 5s and absolutely kicked home. We want to hear your trumpets. We want to hear, your trials and tribulations. Have a go at us. Provide some insight, provide some tips. And anything and everything, It might not necessarily make the podcast.
No.
But, you'll be considered a fucking lifetime achievement if it does, all right?
And if you have a go at us, we'll be having a go back.
Yeah, exactly right. Like, we're not precious, but then by the same accord, you can't be precious either, If you're going to give it, you got to be able to take it.
100%. And the best caller each week will receive on the Drift quarter cap as well, as judged by us.
Yeah, we're jury, judge, and executioner. This is our podcast.
Yeah. 100%. So
I was just coursing through my veins.
If you want to call the Trumpet hotline, it is 07 3040 2269. That number is also in our Instagram bio. So that's a lot of admin out of the way, except we do have some pony updates as well.
Shit, yeah, we do.
We have 3 pony updates.
Yeah. Well, do you want to provide some insight into the horse located in Newcastle?
I do. So I'm sure there would have to be some crossover of this podcast and the Bloody Brilliant Beers. So Clutzy's rig is the colt that is trained by Nathan Doyle by Caliber Racing, I believe, trained out in Newcastle. Now, Clutzy's rig is the name of the horse, and he was a colt. He was getting a bit too ahead of himself, and that confidence really filled to his nuts. So they had to cut him off.
Yeah, his nuts were getting too big. Simple as that. Filled with confidence. Confidence-filled nuts. And they had to go.
They had to.
They had to go. So, yeah, he's a gelding now. Clutzy. Hopefully the real-life Clutzy doesn't follow suit.
I'd hope so. I would hope not. But so, unfortunately, Clutzy's rig has gone shin sore, as 2-year-olds tend to do, which is for the year and a half, 2 years that we've been horse racing, horse owners. That's not uncommon. It's fair to say. So hopefully Clutzy will be back in over the next month or so. But our original girl, our first love, Mink Condition.
Oh, Mink.
Can you please update the drifters?
I sure can. Mink Condition was it's no word of a lie to say that she was on the verge of death. She actually was. You know, real life and death stuff. And this is a better comeback story than, I don't know, Rocky IV. John Farnham. Yeah. So yeah, she was close to death. She recovered from that, luckily. Had infection problems post that. Went out to the paddock for a very long time, just to get her healthy, to look after the horse. We had the option to jump out of the ownership, but
for $1.
For $1, but we decided to stay in because, you know, realistically, it's not like we paid $250,000 for this horse. So she's been back in work, and she ended up having her first ever jump out a couple of weeks ago. And she finished second by, a length?
Yeah.
If that, to a horse that is originally from Victoria that's actually run really well.
An ex-Peter Moody horse.
Yeah, and she completely missed the start and just bolted through and actually showed that there's something under the hood. What's under the hood? Plenty.
And she's a beautiful chestnut girl. Think your Brooklyn hustles, because she misses the start as well and flies home.
Screaming at home. So we thought, let's have a throw at the stumps and have a shot at the big time. Let's nominate her for a race on the Friday night at the Sunny Coast. This was supposed to be last Friday. James Healy, her trainer, said, look, guys, we just need to draw a barrier and she'll be racing. We thought, no dramas whatsoever. You know, in a 19-horse race, what could possibly go wrong? Get the text from Racing Queensland. So much trepidation. Open it up. Congratulations. Your horse is nominated and has been accepted to race on Friday night, drawing barrier 19 of 19.
Fucking kidding me.
You're fucking kidding me. You're fucking kidding me, mate. 19.
Oh, I couldn't believe it.
I was in disbelief.
I was perplexed. I was flummoxed. I was in sheer just despair
with all the trials and tribulations she's gone through. Like, give us a barrier. Like, we would have copped 10.
Yes,
we could have copped. We would have copped 10,
mate.
But she draws the worst. But anyway, so she's spelling again. She'll come back in a few weeks. She'll do a couple trials and hopefully in about a month, I reckon.
Yes,
get us to the race.
You know what's ironic about that is we're not big barrier guys.
No, we're not.
Then we've turned into massive barrier guys.
I'm the biggest barrier guy.
So I feel like that's karma. That's karma just biting us on the bum. But I think the biggest pony update has to be told by yourself.
Okay, so the last update. We have bought into a horse that is going to be trained by Chris Waller.
Yeah, you heard.
By Chris Waller.
You heard that.
He is a Northern Hemisphere, formerly a colt, since been gelded, 3-year-old, or 2-year-old actually, but 3-year-old by Australian standards, out of Lope de Vega, which is a serious sire who, multiple Group 1 winner, has sired Vega 1, who's a Group 1 over here, a couple of others, Group 1 winners. Incredible bloodlines, really lightly raced, 3 starts, only placed once, but he was a pretty significant purchase. And thanks to Sneesby Racing,
Yes.
We've been afforded the opportunity to buy in for a small amount to this horse. And his name is Counter. And guess what? Drifters will know that we've had this conversation before on the podcast. If I had a stable and could name all my horses, they'd be named after Pokemon moves. And guess what? Counter's a Pokemon move.
Bang. It's just, and you didn't even have a say in that.
I didn't have a say in that. It was already called
It was
Counter.
meant to be.
It was meant to be. So watch this space. He's just been gelded, so it'll be a little while till we see him at the races, but hopefully in the next couple of months.
So that's the end of the pony update. So all right. So where do we foresee Counter potentially? Like, he's probably the most, like, if we're gonna go to the races on a Saturday, and he's more than likely going to be the one that's racing, right?
Yeah, 100%. So look, the original owner of Counter was a sheik. Or a prince or something like that. And didn't want to sell him, but had to because of some family issues. I don't know the full details, but didn't want to get rid of him in the stable. Didn't want to get rid of him. But Charlie Duckworth, who is Chris Waller's basically 2IC, was over in the UK, and he used to work at this stable where the horse was, which is where he plied his trade, cut his teeth, and said, "We'd love to take this horse off your hands." So yeah, it's a horse with, we think, some talent. Chris Waller thinks with some talent. Yeah, they want to get it into like Saturday racing, stakes racing. Ideally, in a perfect world, great group racing would be awesome. They're thinking it's a miles probably its upper limits, this horse, but a genuine sort of 1,400 to 1,600 metre horse. So yeah. Group racing would be the dream. He's a gelding, so hopefully we see plenty of racing with him.
Okay, so what you're saying is Doncaster this prep into Epsom next prep into the All-Star Mile next year.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Look, I won't be happy unless the total earnings next to his name is at least 7 figures. So we're super excited.
Yeah,
and so more updates to come.
Lovely. Mate, should we talk some horse racing?
Let's talk some horse racing, mate.
That's why we're back. Group 1 racing returns, CF Orr Stakes at Sandown. First time since the 90s, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Mate, you don't have to have a big field to have a talented field. Good field.
No, you don't know. CF Orr's a fantastic field. I feel like our sort of 14 to 2,000 metre stocks have certainly had a boost in the last 12 months. And there's a lot of horses that, we've got our upper echelon. And then from there, you've probably got a group of horses who are sort of like Group 2, Group 1 sort of types, but deserve to be here, I think.
Yes, I would agree with that. I think the form line that I've underestimated over the last 6 months, to my peril, has been the Alligator Blood form line. And
to everyone's peril.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mate, he was just winning or running very well in damn near everything. But so you have I'm Thunderstruck through those form lines and Tuvalu as well. But they're not the favourites here. Jacquinot, what are your thoughts?
I'm a big fan of Jacquinot, as the drifters will know. I've pretty much backed him every start, including the start where he won the Golden Rose, but he wasn't my main on top selection. So I'm a big fan of the horse. He won like a good horse when he was resuming on Australia Day in the Manfred Stakes, which is a Group 3. It wasn't by much, but it was a win where like he's a good horse. He knows where the finishing line is.
Yep.
I think he should be favourite. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so. He's the one who comes into this race like ready to go. I think 1,400 meters. Like he gets a little bit of weight relief being a 3-year-old colt. Like he's second up. I feel like it's all coming together. Like I think he was second up going into the Golden Rose, right?
Yeah, he was, yeah.
So,
and guess who he beat first up in that prep?
Yeah, Alf Cabin. So it's looking pretty damn good for him. I think he's probably my main bet in the race, but he's not my only bet in the race.
Right, yeah, fair enough. So outside of Jacquinot, what are you looking at?
Mate, I think I'm going to that Alligator Blood form line with Tuvalu as well. Only the 3 runs last prep. I think they've looked after him, and I think we're going to see the real Tuvalu this prep. Blinker's first time, which is interesting. But he was only half a length off Alligator Blood in the Champions Mile last prep. Mate, I think he goes out there and he just does his bloody best. Loves the good track. He's 2 from 2 at Sandown as well. Not every horse appreciates that track either. I think he'll go out, be in the top 3 and be mighty hard to run past.
Well, history suggests he doesn't miss the top 3, mate. Tuvalu, 14 starts, 8 wins, 5 seconds, and a third. Wouldn't you fucking love to own that horse, mate?
It would be unbelievable.
So yeah, I 100% agree with you there. He's drawing the first gate. He's going to roll forward. If he's not going to be leading, he's going to be very close to leading. And we love horses that lead.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter what the track is. You're just putting yourself in the right spot. I think the fly in the ointment for him is obviously going to be Gentleman Roy. He's a tough horse, Gentleman Roy. A good horse in his own right.
Yep.
I think he might be a little bit out of his depth in this race.
I think he's one of those Group 2, Group 3 type of horses that you were talking about.
100%. And if this was a handicap race and Gentleman Roy's on the minimum,
exactly,
he'd be incredibly hard to beat.
100%.
But it's Group 1 weight for age, and there's some depth in this race. So for me, if I'm looking at the horses that roll forward, you've got Gentleman Roy, you've got Tuvalu. Tuvalu's the one I'd want to be with. So I completely see where you're coming from there. What do you do with your I'm Thunderstrucks and your Mr. Brightside? I'm Thunderstruck was very close to winning a Cox Plate. He's clearly one of the best horses in the country. Can't believe I'm saying that. Mr. Brightside's a good horse too. What are your thoughts on those two?
I'm happy to risk them this weekend. I think they've got bigger and better things ahead of them. I think I'm Thunderstruck's probably heading towards either a Doncaster or I'd say an All-Star Mile, right? So, and Mr. Brightside probably the exact same. So I don't think they're going to be fully wound up here. I think the horses that will have the most intent will be Jacquinot, which the stable have already said, and Tuvalu. So they're the two I want to be on. The other horse that I think is like different form line, I reckon will appreciate that large 500-metre Sandown straight, and I think we'll appreciate the good ground, if it is good ground, is Agon as well. I think he's the big overs in the race.
Bit of an enigma, Agon, isn't he? He sort of burst on the scene. Remember he won that, was it the Hobartville Stakes or something like that? And we were like, shit, this thing might be the best 3-year-old in Australia. And then he just sort of fell off a cliff, didn't he?
Yeah, I think something went amiss, and then it's taken him like 2 or 3 years to get over it. But mate, he was only 1.5 lengths off Alligator Blood in that Champions Mile. So if I like Tuvalu, I have to like him.
Yeah, enough. Yeah. No, so, fair. And you're looking at this, the SP profile. Yeah, he's a big price.
Yes.
Look, I for me, I'm a big Jacquinot fan. Yeah, stable's like he's wound up for this. He's rock hard fit. They want to get the Group 1 weight for age on his CV, and they're looking at doing it in this race. Yep. If he doesn't do it in this race, they're looking at doing it in the Futurity. You know those horses, and I think I spoke to you about this during the week, where they're probably good enough to be a sprinter, but not going to be a top line sprinter. But they're also not a miler. So the 1400 meters for them is just. It's just absolutely perfect. There just seems to always be a few of those horses.
It's him.
It's him. It's Jack.
It's Big Jack.
1400 meter Jack, they'll call him.
Yes.
When he's doing his best work jacking in the mounting, in the stud farm. Fucking hell. Like you think of like your Tafanes.
Yep.
Who else comes to mind? Behemoth.
Yep.
A few others. He's rifle favourite in this for mine. He's my main bet in the race. I think he'll be incredibly hard to beat. Biggest chink in his armour. In the running, I think he'll be probably back of midfield, maybe about midfield at best. He's going to need a bit of luck to win this. Yep. But he's got the ability. Yeah.
And he'll have the room to do it. Yeah. All right, so for Group 1s this season as well, we are changing it. So we're not just giving our tips, because when we're thinking about it, it's like, you know what? We'll get on do what the 2 Units podcast does as well. We're just we're copying, and then we're putting our own spin on things. But $100 strategy for the Group 1s. I feel like that's a bit more fun, because sometimes Golden Rose last year, great example. I think you backed in Secret, but you also had a saver on Jacquinot. You would have won on the race. So and another example for me, Golden Eagle Like I had a
100%.
had that Quinella who's paying $75. So we can find some winners if it's not our necessarily like on top selection. So $100 strategy for this race. What are you doing?
I'm chucking $100 on Jacquinot to win.
Okay.
I feel like start off with a bang. I think he's got, like you said, the most intent in this race, and I like that price for him. I think he should be a bit shorter. I think on Thunderstruck should probably be a bit of a bigger price because you're exactly right. This isn't his GF. He's got the class, but this is not his GF. So $100 straight on Jacquinot for me.
I have 50 on Jacquinot and $30 on Tuvalu to win about the same amount, and then I have two $10 Quinellas, one with Jacquinot and Tuvalu. So have the dividend 10 times, and also Jacquinot and Aegon if Aegon gets up into second. So that could pay a sizable amount. But what I was thinking for the rest of, I guess, this preview section, we go through like the group races and give like a quick 10-minute summary of all of them.
Yeah.
All right. So if we start at Sandown, race 2, the Autumn Stakes, that's run in summer. We have a few resuming stays here, and I think the forgotten horse here is number 9, Japanese Emperor. And he started $6 against Af Cabin in the Caulfield Guineas Prelude.
That's right, he sure did, man. That's a really good point. Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Mike Moroney knows how to get him ready as well. So yeah, that's a really good point. I wasn't looking at him, to be honest. Pericles, the discussion around him leading into the Derby was, he's one of the key starting horses. I think he jumped probably second or third favourite. Pericles. I don't know if he's a Derby type horse. I think he might be more of that sort of 2,000 metre horse, but I think they threw him in the deep end a little bit.
Yeah, I think I get a bit of Colette about Pericles. They're not quite sure what his best distance is.
Yeah, and Godolphin I find is actually pretty unreal at placing their horses.
Yeah,
they don't get it wrong very often. Colette I think is one that they struggle with because she was brilliant sometimes over like that sort of mile distance, and then you're like, okay, cool, stretch her out, and she'd run like a slashing second or third, but never quite be good enough to win. Pericles, I think they're trying to figure him out. He's a big watch for me in this race.
Yeah. All right. Race 3 is the Blue Diamond Prelude, I think, for the boys. So
it is, and I've got some strong thoughts on this race.
Take it away.
I think Brave Halo could be the best 2-year-old we have. I didn't back him, but I watched his last 2 starts over in WA. And he's putting lengths and lengths on him. You might say, who against? Doesn't matter. He's putting lengths on him and he's accelerating further through the line. So much so that the trainers were like, let's get him across the East Coast. He's smashing the clock more than Amelia's Jewel was as a 2-year-old. He's not nominated for the Blue Diamond. If he wins this race or goes very close to winning this race, Connections will pay the late fee to get him in there. I've got a little futures on him at 17s.
There you go.
He's about. He'll jump probably second favourite in this race, probably sub $4 with Neds. If he wins this race, I would not be surprised if he starts favourite for the Diamond. He's just about my best bet on the weekend, Brave Halo. Big watch from that gate. He'll jump forward. Barber is the danger. I think Brave Halo might be something a bit special. So
okay. All right.
That's my thoughts on the race.
They're obviously the 2. One to put into your Ned's same race multi is Scorsese into 3rd or 4th at $20 for Peter Moody. The Diamond Prelude for the girls. Now, Mick Price is foaming at the mouth about
Isn't he
Charmstone.
Isn't he just?
Mate, he can't get enough of this girl.
Isn't he just? Was he playing it up to the cameras a little bit?
He does it all the time, mate.
He's not the type to be like, like just be sort of super understated. You know what I mean? But what he said with this thing was, Jesus Christ. He was like, well, this is the best 2-year-old in the country. I don't know about that. She does look a pretty smart filly. Did she win at Flemington last start?
I believe so.
It's Flemington.
Yeah.
She looks a pretty smart filly. Like, I think she's rightful favourite, but this is a watch race for me. What are your thoughts?
Mate, I'm back in the Queensland form. Party for 2. Why not? Nikita Berryman comes down for the
story,
ride. Hey, this thing won by 7.5 lengths at the sunny coast. That's I have an affinity with the Sunshine Coast at the moment because of Mink conditions. So
Best form of the country, they say.
So then she went down to Brisbane and did the exact same thing. $11. I can have something small to cheer her home, but wouldn't be surprised if she does nothing. So the Kevin Hayes race 5 for the girls as well. Any thoughts here?
No strong thoughts on this one, mate. $7 a field. She's Lickety Split's the best horse in the race. She's got the weight as well on top of her, which basically says that. I think it'll be a bit too sharp for her. Not a betting race for me. What are your thoughts?
Hey, one of my better bets on the program, Juice, number 13. I think she's one of the biggest overs of the day. Reason being is she was less than a length off the older boys and girls in the Christmas Stakes. Jigsaw. They were going to race him in the CF Orr, and they're like, you know what, bugger it, we'll run him in the Oakley Plate, which is going to be one of the hottest races of the autumn.
Yeah, can't wait for the Oakley Plate.
So, and if you actually look at her during that run, she was actually bloody unlucky not to win. She was held up. The jock went to the outside, went back to the inside, only got going through the line. I think she's a really nice bet.
Yep.
Race 6 on the program is the
Rubiton Stakes.
Rubiton. So, are you team Uncommon James or Chain of Lightning?
I'm team Uncommon James. Mate, he's talking about Queensland form. Mate, he's got Brothers Rugby Union silks here in Brizzy. Look, I'm with Uncommon James. Was a big back when he came down to Melbourne last time and raced in the Regal Roller Stakes and took that out. I think he was sub $2, but I think most people would have had him that day. And we're talking about, is he going to win a Group 1 this spring? And I think he's got the talent to do so. Another one going to the Oakley Plate. I think he might be one of the main chances in that. He's $3.50 with Neds. Yeah, I'm taking that on the weekend.
Yep. Okay. All right. I'm team Chain of Lightning. $5. She rarely runs a bad race. Her worst race is probably in the Golden Eagle, but she started favourite, mate. She has that starting price profile. I think Jamie Carr sticks. She has some pretty decent form, some Queensland form around her as well with Pelisipan. So I think she can get the job done here first up. Marine 1 is the interesting one. Yeah. I don't know why it didn't run throughout the spring.
He won this race last year. Very interesting.
Not sure why he had the spring off, but he's the watch in the race for me. And race 8, the Carline Cup, mate. This is a gross race.
It is a gross race, mate, and I don't have any particularly strong thoughts on it, if I'm honest.
Sosibon.
$18. Mate, Sosibon. I was texting you boys last time he won. I was just pissing myself laughing because he won and he beat home Detonator Jack, who I think started the sub $2.
Yeah.
Sosibon was like, no, this race was mine. Have you seen how good looking I am? Son of so you
sit
think.
down. That was like the hit. That was like the equivalent of like the rugby league or the AFL Pro, the vet going like, 100%. Hey, sit down, young pup.
Hey, mate, $2.1 million prize money. You'd love to own Sosibon.
100% you would.
You'd love to.
Unbelievable. All right, let's go to Randwick. Race 1, the Piero Plate. You have Kings of Gambit and Don Corleone.
Don Corleone.
Both by the Snowdens. I do see King's Gambit doesn't have a jockey booking.
No, because J-Mac jumped off to stick with Don Corleone.
Interesting.
Which is very interesting. They're the two for mine. King's Gambit will bounce back. Don't worry about that, Drifters. That debut run was probably the standout performance by a 2-year-old so far. Was a little bit flat coming back. If he bounces back and brains this lot, then yeah, he'll start rifle favourite for the slipper. I don't know, Don Corleone, he's got a bit of stay inside about him, doesn't he? Both by extreme choice. So they're the two for me in the race. Maybe that's your easy Quinella.
Oh, at the price you go King's Gambit, right?
Yeah.
You're getting a better price. Why not?
$3.80 with Neds, you're dead right.
100%. So race 5.
You're definitely not wrong.
Oh, it can be. Southern Cross Stakes, Group 3, 1,200 metres for the 3-year-olds. And up. Any thoughts here? Your girl is here.
Watch me get sucked into Espiona.
Mate, she's the bet in the race.
Yeah.
100% she's the bet in the race.
Watch me get sucked in with 53 kilos on her back. Billy Pike, barrier 1. She's actually trialled pretty well, mate.
Yeah.
$3.90 with Neds. You'll start $2. The punters will come. She's my bet in the race, mate.
100%. And she's not one of mine, but she's the bet in the race.
Yeah.
There is one that I think it does go into your Ned's same race multis. Top fours, Ranch Hand, gelded.
They gelded him, did they?
Gelded him. So I think you might see the proper Ranch Hand now. He's always shown a little bit of talent, but he was just too confident. It just went to his nuts.
Hey, too filled with confidence.
Hey, it happens to the best of us.
It happened to me.
Yeah. The Inglis Millennium, mate, for the final 2-year-old race of the weekend that's worth talking about.
Mate, speaking of barrier 19.
I know.
Learning to fly.
I know.
Coolmore's just looked at that and be like, you're fucking joking.
Oh, you're joking me.
You're fucking joking me. She'll win this, I think.
Really?
I think she'll win this, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What are you looking at outside of her?
Mate, number 9 for Sile. Gerald Ryan and Sterling, Alexio, Brenton Avdullah in the saddle. Him and I are great mates.
With 2-year-olds especially.
Mate, this girl showed a lot last start, in her only start throughout December. Mate, she looked absolutely gone at the 300, but she battled on. Gave me, who was the Coolmore horse that Tracy Fogden, Casey Fogden, yeah.
Best of Bordeaux.
Yeah, gives me best of Bordeaux vibes as a 2-year-old. Yep. Just an absolute fighter, bulldog, stays out in front and just will be there right in the finish. I think she's a safe bet to back top 3, but I'm only going to back her to win. $9.50 with the good people at Ned's. Barrier 1, she'll be out there.
Yeah.
2-year-olds finding the fence, good formula. Mate, race 7, the Light Fingers. So got you scratched.
Yeah, really disappointing. J-Mac could have been on In Secret, but he chose Zugotcha, and they had like a jump out between races on the weekend and basically said she's just come back a better horse. So, yeah, it's a bit disappointing. It would have been awesome to see her and In Secret go up against each other. But she's going to, I guess, be first up in the Surround Stakes now over 1,400 metres. So, disappointing. Sucks for Sneesby Racing, but for me, that just means In Secret wins this.
I'm looking through this field. I'm not too spooked by anything.
No. And you're looking at Fireburn, who's champion 2-year-old. She's a belter who we like. Madame Pomeroy, this is too short for her. A few others. Sunshine in Paris, there's some big raps on. But, mate, In Secret, that Coolmore performance, Godolphin's looking at her for their Everest slot, mate. Like, she's a genuine sprinting filly. She's a 1,200 metre horse, In Secret. Yeah. I think she's brilliant enough to stretch out to the 1,400 metres, but nah, this is right in her wheelhouse. She'll put them away.
I think the Quinella horse in the race is North Star Lass.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, Waterhouse Bot, you know where it's going to be, out in front, barrier 2. She'll give her a bunny to chase,
100%. In Secret. Hot Nash goes on.
Come on, Nash.
Do you know what? Hot Nash knows how to win on a favourite.
Yes, he does, mate.
Because he's Hot Nash.
He gets the job done. He doesn't know how to win on Charlatan, though. Come on, John.
Yeah, come on, Jack.
Apollo Stakes. Your boy's back.
Oh, I feel like it was just yesterday. I was yelling at the TV when Animo was looking Destiny in the face. I was like, put him away, put him away, put him away. It's great to see him back. Last prep ever, which is a bit sad, but completely understand it. 1,400 metres fresh. He's got bigger fish to fry, Mo, but he's brilliant enough for these. J-Mac will get him in a nice spot, forward to midfield, bit of cover, peel out. He'll win this. Big watch, biggest watch of the weekend for me is El Bodegon. Just to see how he's come back. Because if he comes back and wins or goes very close to winning, Mo, you better watch your back, bruh, because El Bodegon's a talent.
He is. I think Fangirl's the bet in the race for me.
Last 1,400 metres, dry deck.
Just that last run, I look at the end of their preps, right? Animo was clearly flat in the Champions Stakes. He just went one run too many. And you could see that in the mounting out. He didn't want to be there.
He didn't want to be there.
He didn't.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah. Fangirl did want to be there.
Yeah.
And she was mighty unlucky not to win the Golden Eagle. But $7. First up, you might remember in the Wink Stakes in the spring.
Brilliant run.
She was outstanding, and then she replicated that run in the Golden Eagle as well. Barrier 6, perfect for her. She doesn't have to get so far back. K-Mac on board. Come on, K-Mac. $7.
Gets the deck she wants to. Yeah, she'll run a race.
Yep, absolutely. And the last one, mate, the Triscay Stakes. Any firm opinion here, race 9?
Mate, Written Beauty has been trialling well, and look, first up, she actually has a pretty good record. 2 wins from 6 starts and a placing. Good deck. She's got a pretty good record, and at the distance too. J-Mac on. I think it's $7 with Neds. I think she's a bet in this race. I know she's hard to catch, but
she is very hard to catch, and that's why I'm not getting her. I'm getting Laxper Run for Godolphin. Sammy Clipperton in the saddle. Tarath is going around in a bloody CF Orr. And I think Brigantine was one of the more favoured runners in the Golden Eagle, I believe. So she has the form around the boys, some of the decent girls against her own sex here. $9.50. I think that's generous. And I think she actually, her form doesn't really read like she appreciates the good ground, but I think she appreciates it more than her form suggests. So getting back on top of the ground might be the formula for her. Mate, I've given out about 20 tips there.
Yeah, we've just given it a quick scan, and that's all right. This is the preview, not the review.
Yeah, and we can, we'll see where we've actually fell down on this Sunday.
100%. And the thing is, like, it gives us an opportunity as well if we do have a ripper weekend, which is not very often. It gives us the chance to have a little bit of a toot in our trumpet.
Toot. So you can call the Trumpet hotline right now if you want to feature on this Sunday's episode. It's 0730402269.
Wait.
So
fantastic number.
It's the only one I could find with 69 in there. So deliberately did that just as a bit of a joke and makes me smile. So Trumpet hotline, get around that. 5-star review, all that sort of stuff helps us get in the charts and in your hearts.
100%. It's good to be back, Drifters. Get involved. We want to. We say whatever you want. Like, it doesn't matter. Just have a spin of yarn for us. Through the hotline. We'd love to hear it. So good to be back. This is a ripper weekend of racing. I'm actually really keen to play. I love the autumn. I love horse racing. FIH.
Fuck, I'm horny. Shout out to Tim Payne.
Good on you, Painey.
All right. See you, Drifters. Good to be back.